Hello and welcome to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia and thank you for joining me for today's video. We have my summer wrap-up video. I'm gonna change up the format of these videos. I do one each season and usually it's just mainly a favorites video, but this one's gonna be different and you guys will have to let me know if you like the new format or not. I wanted to approach this video on basically if you haven't tuned in all season, what have you missed? What are the highlights? What are the lowlights? And then at the end, I will go into some of the genera that I have been focusing on for the summer, and the categories for the genus that I'll be talking about is a favorites, a glow up, basically a plant that was doing poorly that is now doing better, a new category, so did I bring any new plants into my collection this season, then a glow down, so a plant that was doing well, which is not doing so great anymore. So yeah, it'll be those four categories for Hoya, anthurium, and alocasia. Let's just jump into the broad strokes of what has been going on in my collection before we talk about all of the different plants. In case you guys have been wondering how well the training took, that's pretty much how well the training took to Simba. Okay, so let's go over something that I haven't yet shared, but I just did these last couple of weeks. So I had this really unsightly tower of prop boxes in the corner of my plant room, and it was just an eyesore, and I was really tired of looking at it. And I went on Amazon and I was trying to find those acrylic display cases. They're also called like shoe boxes as well, but just a larger size. And I did find a slightly larger size with a tier that you can adjust. And so I bought 4 of those and I basically transferred all of the plants, it was mostly anthurium, into those acrylic display cases. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and insert some B-roll of what it looks like now. I think it looks so much better because now I can actually see what plants are in there and it's much easier to keep track of them. I don't have to open up a bin. I can just open the door and they still keep humidity in really well. I just think it looks a lot better. I might still move them around and play around with them a bit more, but I think it's a total upgrade from what I had before and I just love seeing the plants. It also reminds me that I gotta get rid of a lot of anthurium seedlings. I just was looking at all of them and I'm like, why do I have all of you? I will probably purge them down the line at some point after I repot them and everything like that. That is a huge update to my collection this summer. The other thing that I briefly want to talk about is a shameless plug. But it would be weird if I didn't mention this because this was a major event that happened this season, which is I started a plant shop. I finally conquered my fears of shipping plants. It's annawithplants.com. If you guys want to know more about it, my last upload basically goes over how the soft launch of my shop went. And by the time you're seeing this, I will have had my official launch. So it is up and going. Overall, I'm so glad that I opened up this new avenue. Not only do I get to share my plants with you guys, but now I have a way of purging some plants that I no longer want in my collection. Next I want to talk about is the pests. Oh boy, summer has always been pest season for me. Anytime the weather really heats up, it just is an ideal breeding ground for pests in my house. The first one earlier in the summer, maybe around July time, was flat mites. I had a couple Hoya get hit with flat mites pretty bad. I will be talking about those and how they are doing now when I get to the Hoya section of the video. I treated those. The next thing that I noticed this last month was spider mites in the grow tent. And it wasn't like a full-blown infestation. A section of the grow tent, mainly the top tier and the top of another shelf, a lot of the new emergent leaves were getting some spider mite damage. I could see them. I could see like the webbing. I mentioned in a video how I was going to try a more organic systemic, and that is SNS 209. I got a lot of good feedback on that video. A lot of you guys said that you liked it and you still use it and have been for years. There were just a couple of people that said that compared to the bonide granules, it didn't really do much, but I wanted to give it a good shot before I make my opinion on it. And I'm still in the process. It's only week 4 of me using it, but I have new anthurium leaves coming out in those areas that were impacted before, and I haven't seen any damage or spider mites yet on them. So it's looking up. I definitely had some pests this summer, but unfortunately, it's just one of the things that comes with having a large plant collection, and having indoor plants is one day you will have pests and you'll have to deal with them. My last quick update is I pollinated my Queen of Hearts this summer with my red vein dark phoenix, and I was really excited, and I missed watering by 1 day. It was 1 day. I normally water either on Saturday or Sunday, and I put it off until Monday, and it was enough. The plant got dry enough that it basically failed. That was a bit of a gut punch because I was really excited for that cross. I kind of knew I was gonna mess it up somehow. I just didn't think that it was gonna be watering. I mean, I guess I do underwater, but at least the silver lining I'm taking away from it is I was able to pollinate my Queen of Hearts. I was able to make it happen, which means that there's a higher chance that I will be able to make it happen again. So that is what has been going on with me in my collection this summer. Let's jump straight into the plants that I want to show you. Starting off with Hoya, and starting off with my favorites this season. I have 2 of them to show you. One of them is right in front of me, and I'm so excited about it. My Hoya Mitrata Silver bloomed. Now, before you guys start patting me on the back, I can't take 100% credit for this because it might be a stress bloom. Sometimes Hoya bloom when they're stressed out, or unfortunately when they're about to die. Hopefully that's not the case. This plant was very dry when I pulled it out of the grow tent. It's not like on death's doorstep dry, but maybe could have impacted the bloom happening. However, it's putting out new leaves. Like, there's 4 new leaves that have come out. I don't think it's dying. I think it just maybe got underwatered, or maybe it's just time for this Hoya to bloom. Who knows? Regardless, here is what the bloom looks like, and I have been patiently waiting for my Mitrata to bloom. And I love these blooms because they are the teeth blooms that people either love or hate. They're kind of like the same blooms you would find on an elliptica. I don't know if the elliptica ones are purple in the middle, as you can see, but I just love teeth-shaped blooms. I think they're so cool. And this is going to be hard to show you, but if you look at the underside of the flower, you can see pink speckling. It's like a pinky purple, almost like the same as the backsides of the leaves. If you haven't seen the backsides, it kind of looks like this. You see it on the back of the flowers too. Hopefully you saw it, but here's the front of it. I think it just looks so cool. Not the best at describing scents, but if I were to describe the scent, it is powerful. Number 1, it punches you in the face whenever I open up the grow tent, and it's very floral, but it's a sweet floral, very sweet and very strong. Once I open up the grow tent and this scent escapes, it fills the upstairs. Those of you that don't like strong Hoya blooms, this might not be the one for you. I don't really mind it that much, but it's powerful. Regardless, the foliage of this plant is one of my favorites in my Hoya collection. It's just so unique. I love the leaves, and also, of course, I need to show you guys, I also love the backsides of the leaves too. They are stunning whatever way you look at it. I will be taking a cutting of this one soon. I gotta share the love for sure because this plant is just so beautiful, and the bloom is just an added bonus on top of it. This plant also grew quite quickly for me as well. This is a Hoya that just went above and beyond this summer. The next Hoya I want to talk about, I've always really liked, but this summer was the first time that I really fell in love with it, and I think that this will be a enduring love and it'll continue. It's my Naba Wanensis variegated. It is so beautiful. I think I recently shared this plant not too long ago. It comes out this really hot pink color. It does stay around for quite a while. These are a new set of leaves, and I do have a section that I can cut. It's going to be these sets of leaves. I have 2 nodes, and I also have some new growth points. So there's a growth point here, and then there's also a growth point back here. So this one loves to branch a lot. I've noticed that's why my plant is kind of very clumped at the top, and I've been waiting for it to trail, and it is starting to trail now. Slowly but surely, for a very variegated plant like this, it's actually not a super slow grower once it gets established. It took a bit for it to get established, like a few months, but after it started growing roots and everything, it will just push out a lot of growth points and fill out. Once you're in that stage, then you can just kick back and enjoy it. Now let me show you the backs, because the backs are also very pretty. They're like a gray, pink, mauve color, which is adorable. This plant is still pretty expensive, maybe due to the reason because it takes a while to get going and stuff. If you're able to get your hands on this one, this is just one that whenever you see a picture of it, it's always super pretty. So I've been loving this Hoya. In terms of glow ups, this is a one that comes up to mind that wasn't doing well for the longest time, and now it seems to really have hit its stride. This is my AH0001. I always have to remember it's 3 zeros because 2 zeros is a totally different plant. So this one is on the harder side. I will not lie to you. I'm very particular in what it likes. I had the same leaves on it for the longest time, and my main struggle with this plant was when it did finally start to push leaves, they would yellow and fall off. As soon as it got like just a little bit on the dry side, it just would abort all of its leaves, and I was having a really hard time growing new leaves. But as you can see, it has a lot more leaves on it now, and I feel like every time I open up the grow tent, it's pushing out a new leaf. The leaves are a little bit smaller just because it is closer to a grow light. The one thing that I really love about this plant is I think the splash of it, it has a very distinct splash pattern. It's almost like a crusty, dusty splash pattern. It's not like a pretty one, but it's a very cool looking one, in my opinion. I have it on this circle trellis that it is slowly but surely filling out. And yeah, I never really thought that I would get to the point of having a somewhat fuller plant. I almost purged this one a couple times because I was just really tired of its crap that it was giving me. It also has a new tendril that's peeking out over here. It's been living in my grow tent, getting 80% humidity. It seems to be liking it. I don't know what the magic sauce of why it started to do well all of a sudden could be the higher humidity. Who knows? Anyway, I'm just glad that this one has started to like me better. We're moving into the new Hoya that I added this summer. It has been few and far between. I'm gonna talk about 3 of them that I did add. I don't think I added more than 3. I'm trying to think. I think these were basically the only 3 that I bought these last few months. So this is my Patchawalai 023. It used to be called the iCensus, and this one is the Splash. So I got this. I'm also gonna try to remember where I bought plants from. I'm really bad at doing that. So this one I remember I bought from Plantita's Dreams. I think it was a Facebook purge on the US Hoya market. This is what it looks like. It has grown some new leaves for me. So we got this one that's new, and then this one is just starting to show its splash, keeping it in higher humidity. We have some baby leaves. It's still in the original mix. I think what I want to do is I want to basically just chop it. I'll take like a top cut, maybe a couple cuts in between here, just so I can start to propagate it and see if it'll continue this lovely, lovely splash pattern. Really love the big round leaves, and yeah, I just think it's got some good genetics. I can't wait to get like a fuller plant of this one. Next one I want to talk about that I've had my eye on for some time is my Hoya Jasminka. This is also called the Polynera albo splash because, as you can see, it is the albo variegation on the outside, but it also has a lot of splash through it. Last time I showed this one, it was just getting started and I wasn't sure if the splash would continue because sometimes these don't continue the splash, but as you can see, it has. These leaves haven't quite hardened off yet to like the bluey gray color yet, but you can definitely tell that the splash is there. It has a new set of leaves that it's working on here, and then there is a growth point back here that has 2 new leaves on it too. This one, I will say, you won't really get to see the splash on it until the leaf is pretty much fully hardened. The splash comes in at the very end, so it is a little bit nerve-wracking if you're not sure what it'll look like. I don't know if I mentioned, but I did purchase this from Cactus and Exotics for a really good price. I think I paid like $59 for it. I think that's pretty good in terms of the market for it right now. I also really love their mix. I still have it in the mix because I do really like their mix. I have no idea what it is, but it grows roots really well. It's very moisture retentive. Looks like it's kind of like a cocoa husk with the fibers in it with some like hoya and some perlite. But regardless, I did get this cutie pie here this summer. This summer, I was able to cross a wishlist hoya off of the list. I've been talking about this hoya for over a year now on this channel, and it's the Hoya Chibi. So this is what it looks like if you haven't seen it before. It's basically like a really round, very cute Callistophylla. It just is so adorable. There's just something about the veins and the roundness of the leaves that are just so cute. I did grow a new leaf. This is very new. It's still a little bit soft and it's looking pretty good. It did drop 3 baby leaves. So this node dropped both of the baby leaves and this other side dropped a baby leaf. We have an active tendril, and at least I have this one leaf, but this one has been in an acrylic prop box. Should be not dropping leaves, but maybe it's just an adjustment period. Callistophyllas in general are not the hardest hoya to keep happy, so I don't know. We'll see how the journey goes with it, but at this point, I'm just happy to have it in my collection, and I want to continue to grow it because I want like a very full, cute, round plant of this. That would be such goals for me. So yeah, this is the Hoya Chibi. Okay, let's talk about the flat mite victims. We're moving into the glow downs. I have 3 to talk about in terms of Hoya. This is the Multiflora Wonderfill. It was doing so well this summer. It even bloomed multiple times. And then the Hoya that it happened to be closest to was patient 0 for flat mites. And so they did crawl over to this plant and have a good field day with it. So I had to chop off a lot of it. I tried to root back the cuttings and a lot of them failed. The stem dried up to a husk. I do have one, but it's looking a little dicey. There are some new roots. There should be more, but I have it growing in ambient and it's been drying out a couple times. So it's not like been the happiest camper overall, but we have some new leaves happening. So ignore this, the tip of this one, it got crispy because it was touching a grow light, so I had to pull it back. But you can see that we have new leaves. They're a little curled and a little small. There are new ones happening, and look at this, you guys. They don't have any flat mite damage. Look at the undersides. It looks way better. The stem even looks way better. You can see all of the scratching on the stem and whatnot. Compared to what it was before, this is a definite glow down. Talk about patient 0 for flat mites. This is the Elliptica Splash, and this one used to be way bigger. It was on a U-hoop trellis and was filling it out really nicely. It was even about to bloom. The buds were starting to form and everything, and then it just went super downhill so fast. It's rerouted again. I did prop some of the cuttings and I put it back. I think there's two in here that seem to make it. Yeah, 2. If you ever are curious what flat mite damage, like really bad flat mite damage looks like, I have some older leaves that I can show you. It's these markings on the back. It's like a gray, hazy scratching. Oh, that's a good one. You see that? That is indicative of flat mites, and this is another good example. When you touch the leaves will snap off at the petiole really easily. Like you just need to just touch the leaves and this is gone, because they like to snack on the petiole part and also the underside of the leaf. If you have this plus the leaves are just coming off at the petiole super easily. Congratulations, you have mites and you should start treating your Hoya for that. I sprayed all of the flat mite Hoyas in Pure Crop 1 again and again and again. I did it every 2 to 3 days for weeks. Cut down a lot of the Hoyas. Happy to tell you, a lot of growth has started. It's covered in growth points, but the new leaves, look at the backs, look at the backs. They have no such damage. You would be able to tell with even new leaves if they are still around, you would be able to still see it. They look a lot better than all of the old leaves. Seems like we're turning a corner, so at least that's a positive. This is basically the saddest glow down for me this summer because I really loved the original leaves of this Hoya before I got the chibi. It was also the most expensive Hoya that I ever bought. Not so much anymore. The original leaves got like a weird yellow spot. Pretty sure it was fungal and it just took down the plant, the original leaves. So this is the Hoya Gaio Loose and it's the rib pillow. I got it from Nayu Plants. This is what it looks like. It looks really funny. The original leaves were so beautiful. I had a lot of people asking me where I got this Hoya because they liked it too. And now the leaves are gone, which makes me sad, but it did push out a couple leaves before it happened and it still has the ribbing on it. It's not quite as prominent as the original leaves. You can get the effect. I'm gonna have to play around with light once it bounces back. In terms of, I did repot it too, and in terms of rerooting, it has started to reroot. There's not a lot of progress to show, but here's like one little root tip. I did see the older roots and it looked like they did die off. Honestly, I kind of approach this like I approach it with anthurium. If you transition a plant and the old roots die off, but you see new roots happening and the plant itself isn't declining, I just let it be. Next time I repot that plant, whenever that is, I'll just go ahead and chop off all of the old dead roots and keep the new root system, because if you see the old roots dying off, but you just repotted it and then you repot it again, I just think that's a lot of stress on the plant. And right now it just wants to grow roots. Just let it grow roots if it's not declining is what I've been doing. In my experience, it's been okay doing that. But yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do for this Hoya. And then eventually I think I do wanna chop it because this growth pattern is not ideal. So that finishes out the Hoya section. Next up, we are going to be talking about alocasia. This summer, alocasia is a new love for me. Before, I was really scared of them. I did not do well with them. Basically, the vast majority of alocasia I ever brought into my collection perished. They died. The one steady alocasia I had was the scalprum, and I took a chance and I got a couple more earlier this summer, and because those were not dying and doing okay, that kind of made me dip my toes into alocasia, and specifically now like the more variegated ones. And thank God I got baptized in the crazy plant prices for anthurium, because if I didn't, I would be a lot more shocked with the prices for alocasia when they're variegated. But now those prices are basically on par with a lot of the more rarer anthurium. So let's talk about my favorite alocasias this summer, starting off with the one that just made me fall in love with variegated alocasia. I believe I got this one either end of July or the beginning of August. This is my Silver Dragon Albo variegated alocasia. It's just been growing non-stop this summer. So this is the newest leaf that came out of it. Initially, the white variegation starts off cream. It has like a tinge of yellow to it, but as it hardens off and the leaf gets older, it just comes out pure white. This specifically made me fall in love with this alocasia. I've always liked the Silver Dragon. I really love how the leaves are this bluey gray color. It's a really unique looking plant, not variegated. But then when you add the Albo variegation on top of it, I just think it's so freaking stunning. I literally stare at this plant anytime I go into the plant room. It's that pretty. I've grown a lot of leaves on it. I transitioned it to pawn and we had a successful transition. It is in semi-hydro. I never let it get dry because alocasias really are not fans of any sort of dryness whatsoever. So it's got good roots in pond, and it also, I know, has some corms in here. I'm gonna try to hold off going corm digging in this one, but I really do want to. You can see one corm is starting to form off of the surface of the plant. Let me see, it's right here. It's kind of coming off the top, but I know there were some deeper on the stem as well. It's already pushing another leaf right here. You can see it, even though this one is still forming and hardening off. And that's pretty consistent with this plant, is as soon as the newest leaf starts to harden off, it's already pushing a new leaf. It's super duper fast. And one thing that I also love is the backs of the leaves have these red veins going through them. And it's a lot more apparent on the wider bits. Hold on. Yeah, do you see that? And when the leaves are white, you can actually see it peeking through the white and it looks pink on the other side, which is another added touch that I love about this plant. It's an ambient. It's just been doing really good. I make sure to keep a good eye out on this one because I don't want to see it decline. And I believe this one was also tissue culture. So I definitely do plan to keep at least one pup off of this plant, just because I know tissue culture plus variegation can be kind of spotty at times. I just want to make sure I at least have 2 plants of this in case that happens to this plant. Oh, and I keep forgetting already. So that silver dragon albo I got from Nayu Plants. Okay, moving on to another alocasia I got from her. I believe her alocasias are tissue culture, and this is a pink black velvet. Also got this one at a really good price. This is what it looks like now. The new leaves, when they come out, are really pink. They're so stunning to look at. I have like a T10 light right in front of it. It gets a lot of light to encourage those pink leaves. The pinkness does die down a little bit, but it still has those mauve pieces to it, which I think is so, so cute. So, okay, trying to think how many leaves it originally had. It had these 2 leaves were the oldest leaves, and I think there was one more smaller one that yellowed off, but it did have these 2. And then when I first got the plant, this one was unfurling. And that's why like the bottom was like a little bit damaged, but this one was the first one I grew in my care. This one was the next leaf I grew, and then this is the newest one, which is by far the biggest one. So it's been sizing up pretty steadily for like a jewel alocasia. In case you haven't seen the trend that's going on, is every leaf that's coming out has just less and less of this dark green and more white. And I know these can either completely revert or go all white. Usually I see them go all white, and that's kind of like the trend that it's headed towards. I desperately hope that it'll rethink its mind and put out a little bit more green the next leaf. We shall see. I think I might have to behead it, and I've never beheaded an alocasia before. So if you have, let me know how they like it. I'm assuming they don't like it very well, and how long it takes for them to start to push new growth. It's still in the original mix, so I think I will have to film a plant chores for alocasia and me transitioning everyone out of whatever they're in and into pond. It is also in the death plug, which I do need to take it out of the death plug. Has lots of good roots though coming out the bottom, so I just kind of wanted it to grow roots and acclimate, push out a couple more leaves before I start to mess with it. It's definitely been a favorite for me to watch grow, but I am a little anxious of the white that it's giving me lately. Yeah. This is my pink black velvet. Let's move on to the glow up section. This alocasia I bought in July, I believe, and I got it from a seller on Palm Street. I can't really remember. I don't necessarily want to say their name because it did come with spider mites, and it lost a lot of leaves. It came in like a cocoa core mix, and I did transition it to pond. It shocked, lost pretty much all of its leaves. It had like 5 or 6 at the time, except one. And back in the beginning of summer, I'm like, see, this is why I shouldn't get into alocasia, because they hate me. But I'm happy to report it transitioned to pond, finally rooted out, and it pushed a new leaf. So this is the alocasia purpley. This is one of the oldest leaves, the only old leaf actually that it kept in my care, and it was just in the 1 leaf club for the longest time, trying to root out. It has rooted out, it's got some good roots and out the bottom. And this is the newest leaf. What makes this different, the purpley compared to a normal Amazonica, is when the leaf emerges, it's like this bright purple color, and then as the leaf hardens down, it will go this color. It is supposed to be a little bit darker than what you would expect an Amazonica to be. When this leaf came out, it wasn't that purple, but I did read online that it is also a maturity factor as well. The purpley came from Bill Rodolante in Silver Chrome Gardens. Basically, it was a mutation off of a tissue culture plant that he was able to isolate, and it carried on that trait. So that's kind of how it came about. I'm really happy that it survived. I can't wait for it to push new leaves. It is a little bit on the slower side, but that's okay because the leaf it's giving me is pretty big. Yeah, I'm just glad that it's doing better now. The next plant I want to talk about never really looked bad, but it just looks now a lot better than I expected it to be, and that is my Regal Shield pup. So I bought a alocasia starter pack for, I believe each plant was like $10 off of Etsy from a shop called From My Piece. I have had the best experience with the seller of that shop. Her name is Jillian. Even when one of the alocasia came in not looking good, which I will talk about later, she was kind of able to talk me through that. The Regal Shield that she gave me was doing really well, sizing up, and then I noticed that it kind of started getting variegated, and it wasn't until the third leaf that I finally reached out to her, and I'm like, excuse me, but did you happen to include a reverted Regal Shield elbow into my order? Because hello, look at this, and I'll go ahead and pop up the picture of what it looked like when it emerged. It was more on like the elbow side. She basically said yes, like she knew that it was a reverted pup, and she likes to just include that in the orders here and there just because it's a very nice surprise and you never know what will happen to it. And she said like how happy she was for me that the variegation came back, and I just think that's so sweet of a seller to do, is to include surprises like that. And also the fact that this plant was only $10 and Regal Shield elbows are going for over 100, maybe 200 now. That is such a wonderful surprise to have. And the fact that she was also happy for me and not bummed out that she didn't choose to keep it. Huge props to her for just making this whole experience so enjoyable and fun. I love it when sellers do these kinds of things. And so let me show you. It desperately needs a repot. Look at how the roots are starting to circle the pot it's in. I definitely need to upsize this ASAP. But anyway, this is the original leaf that it came with. And then this one was the one that made me think it might have been a variegated corm, because even though it looks just like a plain one, it had, as it was emerging, just a little patch of splashiness, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Maybe that's just a characteristic of this plant. I didn't know. And then it wasn't until this leaf that I was like, oh, okay, it's definitely a Regal Shield elbow. And I love that it hardened off and it gave like a caramelly, do you see also that gray purple patch down at the corner there? It's just a really interesting alocasia to throw so many unique colors and stuff. And this makes me super excited because I can't even wait to see what the next leaf is. Regardless of how this plant will look like as it gets older, it's just so fun that you never know what the next leaf will look like. Thank you, Jillian, for adding this in my box. It's been such a treat to watch this plant grow. And I know that this alocasia, on top of being an easier one, also gets really big. So I can't wait for it to kind of like boost my confidence, hopefully, with alocasia. So yeah, this is my Regal Shield that is now a Regal Shield elbow. Now let's talk about some newcomers to my alocasia collection. Arguably, a lot of the alocasia that are in my collection are new this summer. I do want to highlight two that I'm particularly excited about. So the first one is going to be a Yucatan Pink Princess, and I got this from Otaku Plants on Etsy. I believe she also has a YouTube channel here as well. So this is what it looks like. This was the leaf that I saw, and then this one was just starting to emerge when I got it, and it's like a really pretty half moon, and I love when they harden down. The pink is a gray pink, but it's also very like shiny. It's really pretty to look at. And then this is the newest leaf. It's still coming out, but it still has some variegation on it. So love the variegation on this plant so far. It came in fluval stratum and it rooted out really well, has some roots coming out the bottom. So it's doing good. I wish it was sizing up just a little bit more. It's been steady but very small upsizes. We'll see how it does, but I love to see big mature plants of this because I like the leaf shape. I like how it also stays pink, and I also love the stem. The stem is like a pinky purple gray color, which is a nice touch as well. Okay, so let's talk about one of my exciting purchases this summer. Basically got it as a gift for myself for finally having the balls to start a plant shop. I thought that I should reward myself, and that's what I'm sticking to. Originally, I was gonna let this plant go because it is expensive, but the price of it considering was actually not that bad, and it was in so many people's carts on Etsy. The seller I got it from is Corm Hub. I will go ahead and pop up their channel. Also, I had really great interactions with that seller as well. It just kept not being sold, and so finally I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take it, because the more time that went on, it had the opposite effect of me not wanting it more. I actually wanted it more, especially when I continued seeing prices of this plant go for way more than what this price was. And so I'm just going to show you what it is. This is a pink chantriri, or I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it because it has an E in it. Let me know how you pronounce that because I'm not entirely sure. I got it as a pup with this leaf was in the photo. So I thought I was buying a 1-leaf pup of this, which this price was not far off of what corms were going for. Like corms of this one, like an unsprouted corm was going for mid 200s to 300s, and this one had already sprouted and it had a leaf, so you knew it was variegated. I also saw pictures of their mother plants, and the mother plant, every single leaf was beautiful. Imagine my surprise when the seller reached out and was like, hey, it actually has another leaf coming, and instead of showing you, I'm just gonna tell you and it'll be a surprise. So imagine my shock seeing this beautiful, beautiful leaf. Now, it wasn't this big when I got it. I'll go ahead and pop up a photo of what it looked like. It was still very soft. Packaging was 10 out of 10, but look at the size jump. You see the size jump? It's huge, and it just is so beautiful. It's stunning, and I honestly can't believe I have this in my collection. I don't think I really deserve to have this plant in my collection, but I'm gonna try to do right by it. I've been babying this thing a lot. It did shock a little bit because some of the older roots did die off, but it also has some newer roots growing in, so I've just been monitoring this thing daily because it would be super sad if I ever lost it. But yeah, now I have this beautiful plant, and I just love the pink on this plant. The pink, even after it hardens down, stays, and it's just so pretty. Let's talk about an alocasia glow down, but it's on the up and up. So this was the reason why I purchased the alocasia trio starter pack, was for the Aslani. That was a plant that I'm obsessed with that hates me, and it's continued to prove that it hates me. This is the 3rd one I've had now, and it's still hanging on there, but the leaf melted unfortunately during shipping, and I've never really been able to grow an alocasia from like a leafless stump, but here we are. This is what it looks like. But do you see it's sprouted? It is sprouting a new leaf, and it's very small, and it's going really slow because it has no leaves left, but it's here. It's here. It's working on new roots coming out of the stem. I think it'll pull through. Right now, unfortunately, it just looks really sad, but I just want an Aslani so bad. It just is a hard alocasia for me. Thoughts and prayers to this one, and hopefully it'll pull through. Now we're on to anthurium. I'm gonna try to speed run through this because we have some baby leaves that I want to keep, and I had to take these out of the grow tent. Generally for anthurium this summer, I kind of took a step back from them. I still love a lot of the ones that I do have, so I was really enjoying growing out the ones that I had this summer, but not a lot of new additions, that's for sure. So let's go on to my 3 favorite ones. Let's start off with a Carla. This is the NSC Carla Blackier, and it does have a new leaf on it, and it is pretty pristine. It didn't get hit with spider mites, thankfully. These are the older leaves. This is one, and then this is one over here. It has that really lovely Carla veination. I believe this was a cross between 2 unnumbered RA Carlas before they got their numbers. Yeah, this is the first Carla that has given me a leaf this big, but has also started growing out of cataphyll. So that is another really great development for this plant. I kind of knew as soon as I bought a Carla from NSC that I was finally going to get it right, because for some reason Enid's anthurium just always perform so well for me. They are one of the hardiest seedlings that I've been given from any seller. She just sells really good anthurium and makes really good crosses, and this is no exception. So I've been really loving this Carla. The next plant that I want to talk about is a surprise variegated anthurium. This is a big black block crossed with pumpkin spice. This is a cross from Understory Oasis of a variegated anthurium with a dock block anthurium. Unfortunately, we're not catching it at its like cute stage. Its cute stage is like before this point when it's a mint color and you can really see like the dark green through it. Right now, it just looks a little bit chlorotic. See, this is the thing with anthurium that are variegated. I don't like a lot of them, but this one has actually been cute because it hardens down to green. Like you can barely tell that it is variegated, but trust that this is variegated. It has like a very interesting pattern because the pumpkin spice kind of starts off orange and then it hardens down to a green, and this is kind of what this plant is doing too. I also love the pink margins and the veins. Unfortunately, it's just not during a super cute phase of it, but it's got good roots and it's been sizing up steadily. I grew this one from seed and I am glad that at least one of them ended up being variegated. The next one I want to talk about, I recently repotted. This is my Dream Weaver crossed with Necromancer crossed with Mickey Boy. This is like the Tazula red crystal cross that's kind of hard to come by, crossed with another red crystal. So lots of really good parents in here. And I wanted to show it in this stage specifically because this is my favorite stage of the emergence, because it comes out black, but the veins are hot pink, and that's what the mother plant is known for by Tazula, is the black foliage with the hot pink veins. When it hardens down, it does keep some of that darkness and the sinus does stay red. There is that going for it, but I just love this specific part of the emergence. It's so pretty and the roots are doing good. It is a little dry. I will have to water. I am scheduled to water my grow tent today, but I just wanted to show this plant. It did get a little bit dinged up coming out of it. It has the puckering effect going on. The old leaf had some spider mite damage on it, but this new leaf so far does not. Hopefully it'll continue to stay that way. Really love this plant. I also have an offset of this plant that I plan to sell as soon as I get the pests under control in the grow tent. It's just such a good red crystal, and I'm so glad that I have this in my collection. Let's talk about the glow ups. This is my Cartel Down Hue red crystal. It was giving me the weirdest leaves. Like, do you see these weird misshapen leaves? When I first got it, finally, as it started to mature, it started giving me normal shaped leaves. And why I love this plant is mainly the shape. It's basically almost a circle. I love how cute it is, and this is the newest leaf. And it does have a little bit of pink at the sinus, but it's just so cute. It's adorable, and it's so consistent in its leaf shape. And I'm finally so happy that it looks normal too, because that was a struggle with this plant for so long. It needs an upsize. I think that'll help its size up because the roots are going wild in this pot, but I just wanted to show off its newest leaf because it's super adorable and I'm so glad it's doing better. The next plant I want to show you is another NSC. It is her Fairchild Crystallinum, or FTG. This one I was struggling to grow for a bit, but finally it has given me 2 beautiful leaves this summer. So this is the biggest one, and peep the little splash of variegation. It's very subtle. It's only a block. I'm sure it's not going to continue. Finally, I was able to get it to have a good upsize. The older leaves are looking a little bit wonky. This is it. This is the size. It's not quite flat, unfortunately. There are much flatter FTGs out there, but it does have a wider sinus. I mainly just love the veination. That's why people are drawn towards this plant, is in terms of a crystallinum. This one has that unique veination to it, and this is its newest leaf. It did size down slightly compared to the older one, so I think I need to maybe repot it because it does have a lot of roots happening, so maybe it's time for a repot. Hasn't flowered for me quite yet, but I do love that it's giving me some normal looking leaves and some bigger leaves, and that it's happy in its pot currently. Let's talk about the only 2 anthurium I bought all summer, which is kind of crazy talk considering last year is the year that I lost my mind with anthurium and I was buying like 2 a week. I don't know how crazy it got last year. I mean, you guys were here, at least a few of you were, so you should be able to tell me. I only bought 2 this summer. I placed the order through Understory Oasis, and these 2 were in the same order. This one I just added on because Carla's have been really coming down in price. So this is his, let's see, Carla PM2 cross with PM1 is a specific cross here. And this is what it looks like. It's, oh, and there goes a piece of bark. It's really cute, starting to give more of that veination, and it is pink. I love the pink little veins. It's a cute touch. I got it as a 3-leaf seedling. This came out of my care. This came out of my care, and then this is the newest one. I repotted it, and it's been doing good in its pot and steadily sizing up. So this is one of the newest additions. Okay, the next one is I believe it's a Carla, no, this is the cross. It's a narrow best cross with a Carla he calls H. And this one was a pretty established plant growing out of Cataphyll when I first got it, but this is my first leaf that I've grown, and look how perfect she is. Basically, the emergence is like a best, and that's what I was hoping, because a best has like that holographic bluey emergent that I love, but it's got Carla veins, which I think makes it even more interesting. And it's also very pillowy. Hopefully you can kind of see how pillowy it is. It's a really good looking plant. It's also on the darker side. This is its previous leaf, so it does have that like bluey, greeny shift to it. I repotted this one on camera and it's doing really well. Definitely needs water at the moment, and it has flowered for me a couple times. Really love this addition. I will probably transition it out of the grow tent very soon. Let's talk about the major glow down. I'm only gonna talk about one of them, and this is my anthurium. This is his round Carla. It's a self. It was doing well. It was giving me new leaves, and then all of a sudden the leaves started to yellow and shrivel, and I repotted it because I thought it might have gone root rot. It didn't have root rot. The leaves just decided to die off. I did keep them on for the sake of the video. I'm gonna take these off as soon as I finish filming, but you see what happened? The leaves just decided to spiral, and fortunately I do have a new leaf coming out. It looks stunning. Love the veination through it. It's also dark. I love how dark this plant is, but I just don't know what happened. Why all the leaves shocked and freaked out because the stem and the roots were fine. I did give it an up pot, maybe had something to do with that. I have no idea. So this was a definite glow down considering the size of the plant, and now we just have this one leaf. At least it's doing okay for now. And that is my summer in one video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you like this new format for my quarterly wrap-ups for the season. Really took you through the highs and lows. Thankfully, I think there were more highs than there were lows. Thank God it's fall finally. I cannot wait to get all of my fall decor out. That's probably going to be what my next video is, plus maybe like a plant shoresy type of thing. We'll see what we do, but I love fall. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.